Hello. Hello. I am live in 3 different apps. Hello, Instagram. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Facebook. Thank you guys for joining me today. This live is it's the first Tuesday of the month, and I'm starting to do a planning series on the first Tuesday of every month. So while my kids are in school this year, on the first Tuesday of every month, I am going to be doing a live. You can call it Plan with Whitney, or you can call it What's Whitney Planning. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but I'm going to be doing a live coaching, live planning session series thing. And I'm not really sure what platform I'm going to use. Like, I typically use Instagram a lot. Hi, Instagram. But I'm also trying out Facebook, just checking that out. I haven't done a lot of YouTube, lives on Facebook, but I'm just trying it out. And YouTube is like my favorite new thing, except there are creepers. The creepers are weird. And so fortunately, I'll be able to like focus on Instagram or Facebook. So if y'all have any questions, just let me know. Got my notes. Got my little page of notes here to talk to you guys through. So what I wanted to talk about is getting back in the swing of things. Last week, I did a whole series, one coaching session every single day on heart goals and I just went really in depth using that acronym. Some people don't need like a mnemonic device to help them remember things. I am not that person. I feel like we are getting so much information thrown at us on a regular basis these days. I don't need more information. Like, I don't need someone to tell me I need to go do something else. I need a framework and a system for helping me sort through the information that's coming my way. And as I developed Heart Goals, that's what it became for me. It is a goal setting system, but it is also something, if I get a piece of information thrown at me, I can do a really quick sorting in my brain and say, oh, that goes to help yourself, or that goes to empower yourself, or that goes to supporting all my people, or that's a resources thing, or that's a business thing, a trade thing. And so it helps me figure out where to put the stuff that everybody else is telling me I should go do. Super valuable, right? I'm going to be talking a lot about Heart Goals. We are relaunching the Heart Goals course, e-course, later on this year. And I'm super excited to bring that to you guys in full force for the second year in a row. In terms of where we are right now, I was listening to a podcast last night, this gal named The Lazy Genius. She's really good. You guys, I like her. I like her a lot. If you know her, tell her I want to be friends. Super smart. She had a podcast entitled Present Summer, Prepared Fall. I have not even listened to the podcast yet. Believe me, I'm going to. But I love the idea of that. I feel like that has been the story that I've been trying to share on Instagram since the beginning of the summer. Is like, I wanted to have a present summer, like a summer where I was present with my kids. And now that we're moving into fall, I'm so excited to be getting back in the swing of things. And I want to be prepared for like the holidays and the rest of the year. And I want to set myself up really well for success, finishing out this year strong, starting 2020 strong. But I see there's some people that popped on Facebook. I'm talking on 3 different apps. So sorry, I don't want you guys to feel left out. I'll have to look around. But just this idea of like a present summer and prepared fall. So today, kind of what we're going to be talking about is a prepared fall. So I want to talk to you really briefly about goals, the scheduling thing, all the schedules, hashtag all the schedules, the only 4 lists that you need to organize your life. You only need 4. This is going to blow your mind. You're going to get so excited. If you're a list lover, like I am, I love lists. You're going to love these 4 lists. They're going to help you organize your fall. And then taking a cue from that podcast, I did listen to an episode last night where she talked about prepping for holiday stuff. And I have a couple of ideas I want to throw at you guys on that. But I just am excited. Like this is the third week of school. We've yet to have a full week of school. We've only had 4-day weeks because just kind of the way our year started. And then last week they had to cancel school on Tuesday because there was an inland hurricane. Thank you, Oklahoma meteorologists, for that term. Inland hurricane. It's very serious, but it's not something I'd heard of before. So they had to cancel school. This week we're only 4 days because yesterday was Labor Day. Feels like Monday, right? So I have yet to feel like I've gotten the glorious 5 days of all my kids in school. This is also the first year we're not homeschooling, you guys. And so I'm just like, I have a kid that turned 10 yesterday. For 10 years of my life, there's been a kid there every day. There's still kids there every day. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Thank the Lord for all this emotion and energy that just gets dumped on me every day. But I'm just glad that I've got some uninterrupted mom time to get some stuff done. Okay, so let's start by talking. Let me talk you through Heart Goals, the acronym. This is the mnemonic device that I use to help me make sense of everything that comes my way. H is help yourself. So if someone's telling me that I need to drink more water or take another walk or get more exercise or whatever, that's going to go in that bucket. So as the kids have gone back to school, you can ask yourself, what do you need to do to help yourself in that life bucket? Like, what do you need to do to help yourself physically now that the kids are back in school and things are sort of hopefully running smoothly right there? What do you need to do? Maybe you need to get more sleep, go to bed at a more decent time. Maybe you need to drink more water. Maybe you need to go for a walk. Maybe you need to revamp your diet. I'm going to take this opportunity to talk really briefly. I'm also very excited about the meal planning schedule that I've created for our family. I have decided that planning my health is not something that I want to spend all my time on, but I want to be healthy. And so that means that that meal planning every single week, I love it. I've done it for years. I love cooking. But this year I'm totally simplifying. And so I'm super excited about that. I'm not going to be spending a lot of time on meal planning this year because we are eating the same thing every week. And I've even got my husband trained to know what we're eating on what days. And I'm going to tell you what this is, and it's going to blow your mind. On Mondays, we eat meatballs. You can also do meatless Mondays if you're trying to follow the whole, this is the Whitney English meal planning schedule. But it had to start with M, and it had to be keto friendly, and it had to be something that my kids would eat as well. And it had to be easy, and meatballs are easy. A, we can buy them frozen. B, you can make curried meatballs, Swedish meatballs, beef stroganoff meatballs. You can do meatballs out of Italian sausage and have Italian. But it's so easy. Last Monday, I did Italian sausage, some gluten-free breadcrumbs, some Parmesan cheese, some Italian spices, and 3 eggs, and mixed it up in a bowl. Put the meatballs in the oven. By the way, when I cook, I always put a whole layer of foil around the tray so I don't have to wash the tray. This is called Smart Lazy. And then I put a piece of parchment down so the food doesn't touch the foil because there's something bad about food touching foil. I don't remember what it is. But anyway, put those in the oven. Then we cook some spaghetti for the kids. We don't, my husband and I try not to eat the carbs. I mean, I love carbs, but try not to eat the pasta, even if it is gluten-free. And voila, dinner, we're done. Also, meatballs, when you smash them flat, are actually just hamburgers. So if we want hamburgers, that's Monday night. So Mondays are meatballs. Tuesday, tacos. You knew that was coming, right? You can have chicken tacos. You can have beef tacos. You can have burrito bowls. It's all the same. It's you pick a meat, you put your taco seasoning on it. I use Alton Brown's recipe. I keep it pre-mixed in a shaker. in our spice cabinet. So I don't have to, like, it doesn't have all the additive stuff that like the McCormick taco seasoning packet does. And it also just tastes really good. So anyway, throw a little bit of that on the chicken or the beef or whatever and chop all your veggies and you're good. And then guess what? If you've got all your veggies chopped, you have plenty of stuff for salads for the rest of the week too. Which what we do for lunches is we do basically leftovers from the night before. So like if Monday's meatballs, then and we have leftover meatballs, which we don't always, but if we did, like salad would be like Italian focused for lunch on Tuesday. So, but Tuesday night is tacos. Wednesday night, you're going to love this. You're going to totally love this. It's a little bit of a stretch to get you to remember what Wednesday is, but Wednesday is wedding food. This is how I got my husband to remember this. You know what wedding food is? What we had at our wedding? Breakfast for dinner. We had an omelet bar. So, I mean, our wedding was in the evening. I can't remember, like 5 or 6 or something like that. So we had an omelet bar, biscuits and gravy, bacon, scrambled eggs. It was super fun. People were like, I've never been to a wedding where there's breakfast for dinner. We loved it. It was a blast. So my husband couldn't remember what Wednesday's breakfast for dinner, and he couldn't remember it. And I was like, it's wedding food, honey. And he was like, okay, now I can remember it. Wednesday wedding food. And so what we do on that is we cover a pan in a piece of foil. We put bacon on it. We cook the bacon in the oven so the house doesn't smell and we don't have to monitor it on a school night. And then you get the bacon grease. This is for those of you who think fat is bad, we use uncured bacon, but then we crack the eggs we take the bacon off after it's cooked. We crack the eggs in the bacon grease, put a little salt and pepper on that. I got this. Who gave me this recipe idea? Oh, I can't remember. Oh, Jana Hunter. Jana Hunter told me this. She's an interior design friend of mine from Arkansas. Anyway, you just stick the eggs raw like that in the oven for 5 minutes. I think you can kind of tell as they cook. Voila, they're done. You have like skillet fried eggs without the mess. So anyway, that's what we do for dinner on Wednesday night. Thursday is chicken and green beans because we have one child that only eats chicken and green beans and pretty much goes on a hunger strike until we have that. So the good news about chicken is that you can marinate it and you can make extra and you can have it for salads. And we use different kinds of marinade that you can just whatever kind of salad dressing and then some type of like seasoning salt, And then also I pound the chicken out. It helps the marinade soak in. So you don't have to, like, if you forget to put the chicken out in the morning, it helps it marinate a lot faster. And then you can grill it, or sometimes we sear it on the stove for like 3 minutes and then stick it in the oven. And that makes it, if you pound it out, it makes it really good. Okay. So Thursday is chicken and green beans. Friday is, oh my gosh, fish. See, we're getting used to this. We've only been doing this for like 2 or 3 weeks. So that means salmon. And I'm looking for a really good salmon recipe, if you know of one. I think this week we have friends over on Fridays a lot. I've got a recipe I want to try this weekend. So, I mean, it needs to be like company friendly for the salmon. And then we'll also like roast cauliflower and broccoli to go with it. I've got some basil pesto that I'm wondering if I did basil pesto on salmon. Does anybody have any thoughts about that? What do you think? Let me know. Saturday is steak because our kids eat it. It's keto friendly, and who doesn't love steak? So we do salmon on Fridays, fish Fridays, steak on Saturdays, and actually we haven't even gotten to steak for the past like 2 or 3 weeks, however long it is we've been doing this, because we've had like leftovers and stuff. And I have this theory that I can actually get down to like 1 grocery order per week with no leftovers. So we're also kind of trying to like use up some stuff that we've got kind of sitting around that needs to be eaten. And then as we get rolling into this, and then because I hate wasting food. And then Sunday is soup. And that means we can do chili, or I do a chicken soup that my kids really love. We do it without noodles in it, but you could put noodles in it. But it's just onions and carrots and celery sauteed in butter with thyme, poultry seasoning, chicken broth, some beef broth, and if you want to add noodles, you would need to add like extra broth to cook the chicken noodles. But a lot of times people cook the noodles separately and then add them so that they don't make the soup like really starchy, So that's an option too. But Sundays are soup day. And that's great because you can do that like in a crock pot or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that's our meal plan. So I am no longer, aside from sitting down, taking stock of the groceries that we have, and then making a grocery list and placing our grocery order, which hallelujah for grocery delivery. I am no longer planning any food stuff. Now I am getting ready to, here's an invitation. I'm getting ready to do Faster Way to Fat Loss again. The next round starts on September 9th. I found out last night, I messaged Amanda and I found out that I'm going to post my updated affiliate link in my Instagram profile today. And then I'll also post it on this YouTube video, and I can post it in the Facebook links as well. If you want to join me. Okay. So Faster Way to Fat Loss. I did it last fall. I started it last September. It's a 6-week program. It's carb cycling. And so where some days you'll eat no carbs, and some days you'll eat regular carbs, and then some days you do lower calories, and there's a workout plan that goes with it. I didn't do any of the workout plan. I just did the food stuff hardcore. Oh, and intermittent fasting. And she does this thing where she says, you are not allowed to email her. You're not allowed to step on the scale during the 6 weeks of the program. If you step on the scale and email her and say it's not working, she said that she would kick you out of the group without refunding your money, which I just kind of think is hardcore and amazing. And I love it. So I didn't step on the scale. I'm like, whatever, I'm following all the rules. And I actually I don't even know how much I weigh right now. I haven't stepped on the scale in a while. But I just got an email. It was like, you are live on your YouTube channel. I think I know that. That's such a funny email, YouTube. Didn't step on the scale. Guys, at the end of 6 weeks, I did step on the scale and I had lost 22 pounds. Like, I didn't know I had 22 pounds to lose. And so I got down to this amazing weight and felt so good about myself. And I don't know what it is about me in summer. It's probably the fact that I like Corona and margaritas, but I don't know what it is about Mexican food in summer that just like goes together. It just works. But I'm ready to do something again. I haven't stepped on a scale. I want to. I'm going to measure. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm starting on September 9th. If you would like to join me for the next round of Faster Way to Fat Loss on September 9th, I got information. I got permission. I emailed the Faster Way to Fat Loss team, and they told me that they can put us all in the same Facebook group. So we can go through this together. We can figure this out on our own. And I don't still have it totally figured out. They give you a coach in the Facebook group. It's super awesome. But I say all this to say, I am not spending any time worrying about food and exercise. I don't know about you, but my brain never shuts off. So I'm always thinking about something. So if I am like going to go to the gym, I'm probably going to spend a good 20 minutes before and after I go to the gym thinking about whether or not I should go to the gym and what I'm going to do and then what am I going to wear and blah, 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 blah. I decided last night I am no longer spending any time thinking about this. Like, I'm not going to waste my life on what I'm going to eat or if I'm going to work out. I'm going to work out and I'm going to eat healthy. That's all there is to it. Anything else is just excuses, and I'm over it. School started, feeling serious. You know what? Next summer will roll around again and I can have Coronas and margaritas then. But until then, I'm fine, totally fine. And if I will focus on making myself feel better and just not talking myself out of those decisions before I allow myself to act on them, just do it, for crying out loud, Whitney. I'm going to free up a ton of time, which is one of the most valuable resources we have, be able to focus that time on other things. And in addition to having more time, I'll also have a better body because I won't be making excuses. Like a healthier body. Like, who cares what it looks like? Like, let's just be healthy and feel better. We had birthday dinner for one of my kids last night. I did not feel good at all. It's delicious, but we went to Red Robin. Ugh. And it's just like, why do I eat the French fries? Like, I know I'm not going to feel good, you know? Okay. So that is sort of how I'm approaching helping myself from a physical standpoint. That's the H in heart goals. That's how I'm helping myself physically for back to school. That's my plan. You heard it. You heard it there. Fast rate of fat loss, not doing any meal planning anymore. Like it's this thing and we're gonna get it down to like the barest bones possible. I love it. Okay. Next question. The next letter in heart is E, and it's all about empowering yourself. How do you empower yourself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally? And so you could ask yourself on this letter, like, what do you need to do to help yourself mentally? Like, I know I haven't made an appointment with my therapist in a long time. Like, I know it's time. What do I need to do that to help myself emotionally? That needs to go on a list. Oh, I should tell you about the 4 list right now. I'll tell you about the 4 list in just a second. Okay, what do I need to do that was emotionally? No, mentally. What do I need to do to help myself emotionally? Also, see the therapist. Like, need to do that. So that, like, mentally, maybe I need to. I'm good on that. Like, I am reading tons of books. I do not say I have read a ton this summer, you guys. Good hardcore books. I don't know how it is that I've gotten so into that, but I should make a list and I should start doing like book reviews and stuff like that. It's a lot of business books, a lot of like personal growth books. I have read a couple. I did read Where the Crawdads Sing. I have read some fiction too. I don't always share it. I should share it because sometimes it's not good. And then if you don't want to share it, it's not good. But still, have done a ton of reading and feel really good about that. And then I've also been taking a lot of e-courses and stuff like that, which I've really enjoyed as well. So that's mentally, emotionally. Okay, what do we need to do? Next question. Under E, heart goals, empower yourself. What do we need to do to help ourselves spiritually? What do we need to do? I don't know about you guys. I've posted about my friend Lindsay Sherbandi in recent days. Her daughter, I think it was like 11 or 12 days ago, fell off a golf cart and was unconscious and was rushed into brain surgery and is now like recovering from a traumatic brain injury. Hard to hear, I know, but it's been amazing to read some of the comments on Lindsay's profile and her husband's profile. It's people saying things like, I'm not a praying person. I don't really know how to pray, but I'm doing the best I can and I'm trying to pray. And, your story is like really touching me. And I love how I believe in a very like come as you are type of faith. Like people are not, like a lot of times I feel like this is getting like super religious and I don't mean for it to at all, but I just don't like a faith that's like, well, we're not going to accept you until you look like us, like that's not love, like real love says like, I see you as you really are. We're not going to like ignore things. We're not going to put the truth under the rug, but like, this is as you really are, but I love you no matter what. And come hang out, And so I love how Lindsay and her husband's like how they're sharing that story. And from a spiritual perspective, like people are saying, I'm coming as I am. And it's just really beautiful. So I don't know about you. I'm not going to go any deeper than that. I'm not a theologian. I don't pretend to be. My faith is very important to me, but I probably need to sit down and ask myself, okay, from a faith standpoint, like what do I need to do? A spiritual standpoint. One thing that we probably need to do this school year is we don't really have a church. We we lived in a small town where we had helped start a church over the past 3 years, and we moved recently. And so we're kind of churchless and a little bit gun shy about trying new churches and stuff like that, but that's something that we need to figure out. Also, we live in the land of Life Church, and that's just a good old default. I love Life Church. You can watch it online, and they probably have a campus within an hour of you. I mean, it's just amazing. And it's always really good practical application for your life. So, okay. Let me pause right there and tell you about, well, no, I'm going to keep going. The next question is all your people. Like, how can we better serve all our people? I'm going to talk more about that. I've talked about mini planning, and that can definitely help serve your people. Scheduling, I'm going to talk about in a second. That can help serve all your people. I'm going to talk about these 4 lists in a second. That's going to be where you put the to-dos that are helping you serve all your people. Last week in the Heart Goals coaching session, and you can buy that set of recordings for $29. Now, if you want to, the link is in my profile on Instagram. But we talked about toxic people and setting boundaries in addition to creating meaningful relationships. So what relationships do we need to put some distance between us and other people? We talked about a few ways you could do that. How to put those boundaries, how to decide like what is sucking the life out of you. That's toxicity. And then how to put those boundaries in place. And then what building meaningful relationships looks like. So you can just ask yourself, like, how can I build meaningful relationships in our lives over the next academic year, until we get to next May. The R in HEART stands for resources and responsibilities. So the question you can ask yourself here is, what do we need to do to manage our resources and responsibilities better? So planning, I'm gonna have to stop and take a drink because I'm talking so much. When we start planning, we're managing our 3 most finite resources. And I think this is why I am so passionate about planning, is because you can't experience personal growth without a plan. Planning helps us manage our time, our money, and our energy. And whereas we've managed our energy up in H and E, we're starting to manage a little bit more of our time and definitely our financial resources when we get down to R, and we ask ourselves, what do we need to do to better manage our responsibilities, and what do we need to do to better manage our resources? So from a financial standpoint, and then like a stuff and stewardship category. Like when I say responsibilities, that's what I'm talking about, is stuff and stewardship. So the air filters have to be changed, the smoke detectors, the house has to be clean. For a resource on this, I highly recommend following Clean Mama. She has a program called Homekeeping Society, and I think it's like $10 a month, but she walks you through like these cleaning routines. Plus you get all this like motivation and encouragement from the other people in this group. So if cleaning your house feels like a daunting task, and it does to me sometimes, I kind of have my own little, like, we're going to make this work sort of routine. We've had a housekeeper in the past, and I am this close to hiring somebody else. Just because I believe, like, just because I'm a mom doesn't mean I have to be super mom when it comes to cleaning a house. Like, you can, anyway, I can talk more about that later. But I love Clean Mama as a resource for managing the stuff and responsibilities of your home, like especially on a seasonal aspect. And then when it comes to managing your resources, you just got to ask yourself, like, okay, well, there's 3 questions that I ask myself. 4. O, go, grow, and sow. It's a lot of O's, right? Let's start with O, grow. How did it grow? How did it grow? Like, what came in today? What came in this week? What was the income today, this week, this month? What's the income? How did it grow? What do I owe? Like, what are the debts? Like, let's take stock of those. You can't pay them off all at once, but they need to be present and front of mind in order to get them reduced. You can't sweep those under the rug. You can't ignore them. You have to pay attention to them. Where does it go? Like, what's coming up? What expenses do you have coming up? You need to review that stuff. And then how can I sow it? Like, how can I take that gift that is it's a financial gift that I believe that God has given us. And how do I sow it? Like, how can I invest it in a way that's going to benefit the people around me? And frankly, again, I don't want to get too spiritual, but like, I believe like grow his kingdom. So those are the questions that I ask myself on R. And the thing about HEART and the thing about using this acronym for planning is that you can use it on a daily, weekly, monthly, or an annual basis, or all of the above. So I will be having a bad day and I will stop and go, okay, why am I having a bad day? Let's start at the top. H, have I helped myself? And I ask myself the 4 questions related to H. E, have I empowered myself? 3 questions related to E. A, all my people, what's happening there? Are we good? Is it toxic or is it meaningful? The stuff category, the resources and responsibilities. O, go, grow, and sow. How's it working? And I can do that really quickly on, just like in minutes. I've done it in 5 minutes before. I just scribble on a piece of paper. And it helps me rebalance and realign my day. And this is how I know balance is possible. It's a constantly moving target, but it's possible. You have to focus on the big picture, always be moving. And this keeps me always moving, always prioritizing in the right order. So I'm moving forward. The last letter in HEART is T for trade. And this is where I know I'm going to spend the majority of my time is work, career, business stuff. Like this is just where I'm going to be spending the majority of my time. So as long as I've taken care of those other 4 letters first, those other 4 buckets, those other 4 categories first, I'm going to feel better and more confident about being able to focus the majority of the rest of my day on business and career stuff. So when I get off this live, this is pretty much the first thing I've done this morning. I studied my outline a bit, thought about a few things, kind of tried to, get in the right mindset for, doing a live, but I haven't really, I have skipped over up until this hour of my life today. I have skipped over those other 4 letters. So if I want to have a balanced day, the first thing that I'm gonna have to do when I get off of this is walk myself through those other 4 letters first. Okay. Next on and so the thing about using HEART as an acronym is you can look at your week and say, what am I going to do this week to help myself? What am I going to do this week to empower myself? What am I going to do this week to serve my people, all my people? What am I going to do this week to manage my resources and responsibilities? Like, how can I do that stuff better? And once you've got all 4 of those categories running and you've looked at those 4 categories through the lens of a week or the lens of a month, you've done the majority of your planning, and then you can kind of move on to focusing about the work stuff, which is, I feel like, where most of us want to set our goals and focus our energies. We just skip over all that other stuff. And then we get to what we actually want. We're like, this isn't what I really wanted. Well, it's because we didn't prioritize the right way while we were on this journey to getting what we wanted. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's talk about planning really quickly. Every year back to school, I do a giant scheduling session, like absolutely giant. I get everything. I look at all the doctors' names. I get all the doctors' phone numbers. I make all the doctors' appointments. And I'm talking like everything. Like we look at all the medical needs in the whole house. So we've done glasses, we've done well checks. Even the dog needs to go to the vet. Like, got to get that on the list. I get all the schedules from the school. And when I plug those into my planner, I actually, I don't do the daily stuff. I just do the month. I just look at that monthly overview, and that's all I'm focusing on. And yes, it's crammed busy, but I need that monthly overview. I need to look at that big picture for the month. I even, a couple of weeks ago did, I made myself like a little blank printable called the next 5 weeks, because sometimes I need to look at the next 5 weeks and I'm not there on the planner yet. Like I can't turn the page just yet because there's still 2 more weeks. And so there's 2 weeks left in the month and I need to see into the next month. I'm like, I just need to rewrite all this. Because when you write stuff down, you transfer it from the front of your mind to your subconscious, and you free up more brain space in the front of your mind to actually go get your stuff done. And that stuff lives in your subconscious. And this is why if you've ever looked at a to-do list, like an old to-do list, you're like, oh, check. I didn't realize I did all that stuff. It was just happening in the back of your brain. I love it. smart lazy. That's what that is. Okay. So rewriting stuff is huge. Love it. Big on that. Okay. So the giant scheduling session, all the things. I've talked about meal planning. Let me talk about 4 lists. So this is a working theory, but I really think you're going to like it. I am saying that there are only 4 lists that you need to manage your life. You only need 4. And they are this. You need a project list. So project list is, oh my gosh, hang on. That was a silly face. Project list. I probably have like 8 projects going on right now. I have interior design clients. I have coaching clients. I am hosting a mastermind retreat in October, and I would love for you to sign up for that. We have an amazing group of women coming, and it's going to be in Carlton Landing, which is beautiful. You're going to love it. It's really crazy beautiful. You would fly into Tulsa. It's probably going to be the last one that I do for a while. And then if you right now, in conjunction with the purchase of a ticket, we are, I'm offering, you get like the e-course for free, the Business Owners e-course, which is also going away at the end of this year. So if you have any questions about the mastermind retreat, message me. But anyway, that's a project. So I've got 5 other projects, like lots of projects. Well, with each project, I have to-dos. So I don't know about you, but sometimes all those to-dos like get jumbled up in my mind. And I'm like, okay, I know how to prioritize my life. I just did that with heart, like got that going. How do I prioritize my work? And how do I figure out, especially like with all the content marketing and stuff that entrepreneurs are doing these days, it's like, well, which piece of content are you gonna like is gonna move the needle first? Like, how do I do this? And so the projects list is what helps me manage that. And I'm going to make you guys a printable for this. I talked about this 4 list thing last week, in the Heart Goals coaching. And you may not know this about me, but I just am like a life hacker. Like I was sitting at the pool next to my neighbor the other day, and she was like, well, you're totally organized. I'm like, oh, no, not even close. Like that's why I made a planner, is because I needed a tool to help me get organized. I do not have it together at all. My best friends and my husband and the people closest to me know that I will frequently start a conversation with, no guilt, no shame. I don't remember. Like or I wrote it down someplace and I didn't write it down in the right place. I am also habitually addicted to small pieces of paper. And that's another reason why I created a planner. So keeping a project list for me is absolutely essential. So I was like there's like 4, there's literally like, I'll make a ton of lists, but there's really only 4 lists that I keep coming back to, 4 types of lists. And one of them is a project list. So I'm going to make you a printable, because this is something that this is like my little pieces of paper. I also do keep a project list in my planner on the monthly overview. Normally in most planners on the monthly overview, there's a column on either the right or the left-hand side. I put the projects there, like rewriting the projects kind of keeps them top of mind. But I'm really kind of obsessed with this idea of keeping a list for each project. And I know some people can like do this on Evernote. I do love Evernote. I need it on a piece of paper. I know I can put all the doctor's phone numbers in my phone, but I need them written down in my planner. I don't know why. I don't trust digital stuff. And I've actually heard more and more people start saying this more recently. Like I read an article the other day about a Fortune 500 companies, like the CEO's executive assistant. They were interviewing her, and she was like, we keep hard copies of everything. And they were like, why? Like, your boss is the CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And she's like, because you can't trust digital stuff. Like, the technology is going to change. Remember everything we saved on a floppy disk? I might be aging myself there. Where are those floppy disks now? For me, I don't care. That means all the teenage poems that I wrote are gone. Like the stuff that I have lost because of technology is sometimes regrettable and sometimes not. But the point is, we have lost stuff because of technology. And so I just am kind of done trusting it. I am not going, Jane's like laughing. I do realize that there is a need for organizing technology, and that if you can be super organized about storing that stuff, that's great. But the technology changes, and I feel like you're constantly keeping up with it. And I would rather just develop a better paper system. And so that's one thing that I'm working on in my life right now. And because I am always working on that, I am going to share that with you. I'm going to share with you all the life hacks. And one of those life hacks is going to be the project list printable, which you are going to get later on today or tomorrow. And you're going to love it. It's going to be awesome. Very excited about this. Okay. After you have your project list and you sort of you've taken stock, like big picture overview, these are all the things I'm working on. These are the next step in each category. You've got a master list. So if you're like me and you have a day designer, I've got my day designer right here. I have a very messy monthly page and a very empty weekly or daily pages. You're gonna transfer those next to-dos from your project list to a master list. This is where you would put the master list right here. Master list is going to go right there. So the master list is the thing that you're going to look at every single day. You're going to probably rewrite it every single day. It's not going to house every single to-do that you've got on your to-do list. That's what the project list is for. The master list is just helping you figure out what you've got to do to move forward. So I'm super, and you can see that mine is empty. It's like this stuff doesn't work unless you do. You know, like we can have all the printables in the world, but at some point in time, the secret ingredient is you actually, it's like button chair. This is something that I've heard in the writing community. Like if you do not put your butt in the chair and pick up a pen and start using these tools, another thing I hear all the time whenever I do live events for Day Designer, or have in the past done live events for Day Designer, you know, people are like, oh, my planner is so beautiful, I don't want to write in it. Well, it's not going to work if you don't write in it, you know? So you gotta work. You gotta work for the stuff to work. Okay, so project list, master list. The next list that you need is a crazy list. A lot of people call this a bucket list, but bucket list, I think, is actually trademarked, that term. So I call it the crazy list, and this is the list of all the things that you want to go do, like you would ever want to go do. Like, what are they? And so the thing about keeping a crazy list is those are big goals, you know, the super fun stuff. Like I want to sail around the world, or I want to learn to fly a hot air balloon, or I want to swim in the Nile. Why would you want to swim in the Nile? Because I think there's like hippos and those are really dangerous, and alligators. But anyway, just whatever you would want to go do. That's the stuff that goes on your crazy list. And the crazy thing about the crazy list is when you look back at that list years from now, you will be shocked at how much stuff that you've done just sort of on accident. It's that writing something down, you're taking it from the front of your mind, you're tucking it back into the subconscious. So if you've ever said like you want to go live in France, the south of France for a year, which I have said, that's on my crazy list. And one day somebody calls and they're like, you know, like a company or something, like, hey, we'd like to sponsor you to come live in the south of France for a year. You're gonna go, okay, it's on the crazy list. And it's just amazing how like life sort of opens up to, you know, help you achieve those big crazy dreams without even realizing it. So crazy list is very important. And then the last list, and this is kind of like a working title for this, it's like a seasonal list or a leftover list, or like a quadrant 2 list. So this list is the things that are important but not urgent. So you might find personal things on this list, like doctor's appointments. You might find seasonal things on this list, like taking your kid to go get a picture with Santa, or this might just be stuff that It's not on any other list. So I have a leftover list. It's not even seasonal. It's just a leftover list. It could be seasonal. Like there are things that I want to go do with my family and kids this holiday season. And I'm going to talk about holiday prep here in just a second, but it's more leftover. It's more like, this is stuff that I need to do, but it's just, there's no fire underneath it. I have a FedEx account I need to cancel. And to do that, I'm going to have to call FedEx, and who knows how long that's going to take, and blah, 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 blah. You know, it's kind of just a mess. I need to update my rapid rewards or my frequent flyer numbers, because I got married 11 years ago, and I've traveled internationally extensively since then, and it's time to start earning points for that stuff. And the only reason I haven't earned points is because I spent 3 hours on the phone with Delta one time and to get my name changed, and they hung up on me. I was like, for the birds. So anyway, that's the stuff that's on my leftover list. It's just not, there are not painful consequences associated with not getting those things done. Painful immediate consequences is probably the better way to explain it. But it's still stuff that needs to get done. So those are the 4 types of lists, like your projects list, your master list, which is your daily to-do list, your crazy list, which is like a bucket list, and then your seasonal, like the leftover list. It's like, these are the things I want to go do. Like this season, or that they need to be done, but it's just not super urgent. Okay, so I guess you could also call it like the everything else list. Okay, so before I wrap up, I wanted to talk really quickly about holiday prep. And I am going to, so I mentioned earlier in this live, there was a podcast I found actually last night. I just started listening to it while I was falling asleep, and I really liked it a lot. It's called The Lazy Genius. And she was talking about doing holiday prep. And one of the things that she asked, I think it was like episode number 35. So I actually went kind of far back to listen to it. And one of the things that she talked about was, what are your frustrations associated with the coming season? And then what are your favorites associated with the coming season? And I really those weren't her words. Like, this is me kind of like putting 2 F's to concepts, like just so that I can remember it. But at the beginning of every season, like sitting down and going, okay, what are the things that I love most about what's coming up? You could do this at the beginning of every month, or you could do it at the beginning, like of every season, like as seasons change in life. Actual seasonal seasons, or it could be like seasons of like kids leaving the home, or kids starting school, or different things like that. But what are my favorites and what are my frustrations? So so this is something that I'm going to sit down and work through as I further plan the fall, like dive into a more prepared and more organized fall season for our family. What do I love and what do I not like? Like, what do I want to avoid? And this is going to, for us, this is going to have to be a conversation with my husband where we sit down and we talk about Thanksgiving and spending time with extended family and what's that going to look like, and where are we going to stay, and or who's going to stay with us, or where are they going to stay, just all that, figuring all that out. It's also a great opportunity to say, like, last year, like we didn't get to Christmas cards, and I really wish we had. Like, Christmas cards are a favorite for me. And so by identifying something like Christmas cards as early as September, I can sort of start to, and I mean, I think a couple years ago, I ordered our Christmas cards from the cutest company called Dixie Design. And last year I had them all, like I had it all uploaded, like the photo and everything. And then just one thing after another happened, and they never got ordered and they never got sent. And it is just so sad. Because I love those. But anyway, so that just, I missed out on that last year. That was sort of like a frustration point, but I know what I need to do to change that for this year. So by just identifying, like, okay, what are my favorite things about this season, and what are the most frustrating things about this season, you can kind of identify sort of recalibrate and you just plan, readjust your focus so that when you start taking steps to get there, you are finding yourself in a more balanced rhythm. And that concludes Plan with Whitney, episode number 1. It was super fast. I talked so fast. Thank you so much for joining me. I know a lot of people have been watching on Instagram, several people watching on Facebook. Thank you guys for hopping on here. I might do this. It kind of depends on schedule, sort of feeling my way through this, but I might start doing these little planning things on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Central Time. Tuesdays at 10. But I'm definitely doing them on the first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. During the course of the school year. So if you have a topic you want me to cover, I feel like I covered a million topics in this one. But if you have something that you want me to dive into more in depth, let me know, because I am a disorganized person and I have to plan in order to be organized. And talking to you guys about this stuff helps me do that. And it also gives me the opportunity to share what I'm hacking, what life systems I'm hacking, so that you can apply that stuff to your life too. Okay, thanks for joining. I'm signing off. I will see you guys later.